How do you not take it personally when a person is bad at texting, responding to texts? Other people's abilities and actions aren't a reflection on me. So easily. By realizing other people have lives and those lives do not revolve around texting back if they are busy or just forgetful. What if their texting is not bad? Their communication style is simply different than yours. You can try and tell them how you would like them to communicate. And if you feel that their preferences are not better or worse than yours, you might be able to not take it personally. They're just being themselves. I stop making an effort myself. If the person I'm texting can't be arsed to respond, then why waste my time on them? I'm terrible at talking on the phone. Because I do it so much for work, I hate it during my time off. I prefer texting. I prefer email. But we all have our communication preferences. Several friends are just overloaded with texts and can't seem to get a full statement on text, so they make phone calls and are irritated when I answer with email. So I try to be considerate of the time, energy thing of staying connected and realize for some people it's just all too much. If I need an answer quickly, I'll call. If they don't answer, I'll email. No one wants to bomb from every direction, but if I need an answer, just know I'll keep trying till I get one. By realizing that not all people are texters. I am a texter. I prefer it as my mode of communication. But others simply find it stressful, overwhelming, or tiring. It usually has nothing to do with you. They are simply just not texters. Coming from someone who's a bad texter, I just hate exiting because it's too casual and I'm bad at wording myself textually. I value actual hanging out or phone calls way more. I'd rather see someone one every 2/3 of a week than text kind of on and of the whole time. Well, I'm fairly hypocritical about this because whilst it upsets me if people don't respond, I often don't respond quickly either. So I just remind myself of when I do it, and that it's usually due to distraction etc. and not a reflection of my feelings about the person, so the other way around is probably true too. I am that person and I want to change, but I literally have no energy and trying to stay sane. I suffer from depression and anxiety. Please don't take it personally, that person might be going through stuff. I think about how recent the concept of constant connection and accessibility is. Instead of irrationally making my boyfriend not replying about me X, he's ignoring me, I appreciate the fact that he isn't glued to his phone and is being present in whatever he is doing. I wish I did it more often myself. I struggle with this until I learn the habits of a person. If I know they are slow to respond, I'll expect it, still overthink it sometimes. It's a slow process. IDK, but I'm terrible at it, so from all people like me, I'm sorry. Lol. I used to be the kind of person who didn't text right away, if at all. Then I learned I don't like when people do it to me, so I stopped. But, since I knew from experience it wasn't anything personal and likely a result of my own depression, I don't take it personally when I don't get a response right away or ever. Depends what bad at texting means? Is it a day or a week? Is it a partner or a friend? If someone takes a week to get back to me, I don't take it personally, but chances I will initiate contact again with them are very, very low. Who has time for that? Sending letters by post is quicker. I'm already aware that it's difficult to convey what people mean through text and that people aren't robots who can reply at your very whim when you hit them up. As a bad texter myself, I just extend them the same grace I give to myself for not responding. And then I text someone else. I have struggled with this in my past 2 relationships. I generally am quite quick with my responses and can get a bit obsessed when they do not do the same to me and are gone for hours. Over time I have learnt that it is a part of my anxious attachment style. Being aware of that and finally learning to let go sounds easier said than done. Keeping in mind that they will respond when they will respond certainly helps a lot. Also, putting away my phone and leaving it while I'm doing something also works. Realized that I'm becoming one of them and also that I don't know everything that's going on with them, could be dealing with something, busy, having fun, etc. I saw a video once that said that we don't own other people's time. If I start getting anxious about someone not responding to me and then I see them online on social media, I remind myself that I do that all the time. We don't own other people's time. It just isn't personal, whatever. People have lives, they could be shit at texting, maybe they were busy, having a bad day, could be so many things. I got so many other things to fucking stress and worry about than to worry about something so minuscule like this tbh. I appreciate what everyone is saying here because I hate texting and am terrible about texting back. I love my family and friends, and it sucks that my aversion to texting makes people believe that I value them less. The same goes for messaging through social media. It makes me feel guilty, but that isn't fair. Depends on who it is. I always try to remember people aren't always attached to their phone or able to respond. It's definitely easier when it's a friend or family member. If it's a love interest, it's definitely harder to remain rational and not think you're getting ghosted, but again try to cut them some slack unless they've given you reason to be suspicious. In general, I try to just forget about getting a response, unless I need to know something then I'd call. It also gives you a good idea where you are on the priorities list. I'd say it's a mixture of benefit of doubt plus confidence in your relationships. I used to be more uptight about texting and such, but allowing myself to relax let me sympathize with others' reasons and is frankly healthier for me personally. Additionally, realizing that the people I care about me as well gave me a sense of relief. In that even if we don't talk every day, let alone every week, we still care about each other, and how frequently we talk doesn't necessarily reflect any lack of care or effort. Plus, we can make sure to give each other our full attention and respect when we do talk. It can be hurtful, but I try to remind myself that people are busy working etc. and may not have the time to respond right away. If I needed something urgently, I would call. Texting has become our major form of communication, but I also view it as people respond when convenient. I tell myself people get busy and have their own lives. If it really bothers me, I close the chat head so it isn't there when I go on my phone and look at something else. Because I am very bad at it, so I sympathize. Why would you take that person? Not everyone is perfect. Allow other people to be themselves. Stop putting yourself at the center of everything. This shit bugs the hell out of me. I'll put up with a lot for a good friend, but not this. You get 2 chances. If you still take it personally that I am not texting you back in 0.2 seconds or wanting to hang out every day, me and you are just not meant to be friends. Go get a golden retriever or something. Is that about me? 'Cause if so. 4 hours later, shit, sorry, I saw a dog walking and got distracted. If it's consistent like a romantic partner, it's not for me. I need my partner to be decent and to put some effort into texting, and other ways of communication. With friends, they can get away with this a bit more. If I'm taking it personally, it most likely means the person is important to me and I feel ignored. A busy life don't mean anything to me at that point, considering I'm also busy with my life as well. I just contact the person to let them know how I feel. For everyone else I'm not close with, I honestly don't care as much to take it personally. I promise it's not an indication of how they feel about you more often than not. I'm not good at texting or responding. Mostly because I have ADHD and it's just hard to remember to text back. I'll read a text, get distracted, and then forget. Not because I don't care, but because I have issues with those sort of things. Also, I tend to take extra time because I get anxious and want to make sure I'm saying the right things. I think it depends who they are. A spouse, make your expectations clear when it comes to communicating. A friend or other, maybe you just aren't important to them and move on. Because it's not personal? Everyone has things going on, don't assume the worst. They might be really busy with school, family, sports, any other responsibilities, or going through something. Just make it clear to yourself that it's not about you and don't take it personally. Easy. I'm bad at it myself, so I know what it's like. I guess I'm not that much of a texter. I do text at times. Usually when this topic comes up and it really bugs me is when I text my siblings. Sometimes they use me as a transmitter for the parents. When I text them something, they either take a while to text me back or don't text at all. But when they or their spouses need something, I'm just supposed to drop everything and attend. That's what really irks me. I get life is busy, work day is extremely busy, and I don't like to bother anybody during the work day, but sometimes etiquette doesn't really exist for some. I'm not swift at returning texts either. Decentering oneself. Removing the ego. We're all individuals and the star, so to speak, of our own lives. We don't wait hand and foot on others, and others can't be expected to wait hand and foot on us. It's not other people's responsibility to make us happy. They have no obligation to text us back in a manner that's convenient to us. I felt this way when I was much younger, but I've grown to realize that people have lives. Now I'm in a position where I don't even like the maintenance of having to text all the time. If it's urgent, call. If not, be patient. You never know what that person is doing at the moment. What do you mean bad at texting? Because there's a real big obsession with having a constant conversation going via text that I'm just not into. If I'm not seeing them regularly, I send snaps throughout the day of funny things that happened or dumb shit your coworkers did, but I don't think that's what you're talking about when you say texting. I'm not interested in holding a conversation all day. I don't want to constantly be on, or I feel like I need to keep another person occupied all day. I have to constantly remind myself that people are busy, and sometimes don't have the energy to reply to me. Sometimes if I feel like it's really bad, so I just ask to make sure. My friends are good about it. I am that person, so I could never be mad or offended by anyone else. Lol. People have lives. I'll get around to it eventually. Maybe. When you become the person who's bad at replying, even just for a week or so, and you know yourself that it's because of you and your headspace, that's when I finally understood it and realized it had nothing to do with the other person most often. Question. If a friend takes a year to text back, and they say it's just because they're bad at responding, do I take that as a personal thing or leave it alone? This is something that's hard for me, but I've gotten better at it. My boyfriend is not the best at texting. He's gotten much better and doesn't ignore me or anything, but over the course of our relationship, I've learned to not take it personally. He works a lot, so most of the time he's at work or doing something where he wasn't at his phone. I was previously in a relationship where my ex-partner ignored me through text, so I came into my current relationship with anxiety about it, but I've been learning that my boyfriend not texting me is not a reflection on me and isn't about me or anything I've done or not done. If something is time-sensitive, I respond quickly and expect the same. But I'll call if needed. Otherwise, I have never in my life cared about how many texts I send or receive, how long it takes someone to respond, how many texts it's okay to send in a row. I do not get it. Why would anyone care about any of that? I guess it's a different form of social anxiety, but I just refuse to engage with any of it. I have plenty of my own social anxiety, but it's my job to self-soothe, not everyone else's job to deal with. You're not entitled to anything, including constant attention from others. Other people have lives and they may not want to be attached to their phones all day. They may not want to be staring at screens all day. Or they might be ignoring me and focusing on something else. Who cares? I have my own life and texting back is rarely at the top of my priority list either. If it's important, we'll FaceTime. But texting is not a real conversation and I refuse to pretend it is. I don't take it personally. I'm bad at it myself thanks to depression and ADHD, so unless I have a pre-existing reason to feel insecure about the relationship, I don't sweat it. I will also point out that it may not be that the person is bad at texting, you just might have mismatched expectations. What is your expectation definition? Some people think that someone is bad at texting if they're not constantly messaging and dropping everything to respond immediately. I find that smothering and unrealistic. My phone is on silent most of the day, I don't even know I have messages till hours later.